I am not Nostradamus. I have no idea what our country is going to look like economically, in this upcoming year. But I do know that the choices that we make in our kitchens can actually have a pretty big impact on our wallets. So, how much does a plant-based diet cost? Is it the most expensive diet? So hi, if you are new here, my name is Andrew, and if you are what you eat, then I am made of plants, just like the channel name, huh? Yeah, you get it. So look, if you enjoy my content, if you like what I'm saying, please consider subscribing, hitting the like button, or commenting down below. Like, those small things make a huge difference to brand new channels like mine. So let's dive in. And of all the crazy criticisms that the plant-based diet gets, like, the one that I just will never understand is that it's expensive. Like, what planet do I live on? Like, that's so crazy to me. Like, because let's think about it. Like, the most expensive items at the grocery store, it's not in your produce aisle. No, it's always going to be in the same couple of categories. Like, it's going to be like meat, like beef right now, skyrocketing in price. Chicken, skyrocketing in price. Eggs, skyrocketing in price. Like, so much so that, like, the cost of eggs has controlled financial headlines, and it is the single metric by which we measure the expense of our lives for the past, like, 6 months. Skyrocketing in price. Seafood, always expensive. Dairy, skyrocketing in price. And a lot of this is due to that new strain of, like, avian flu, so bird flu, which we got some bad news about that just recently. The H5N1 is now considered to be endemic in cattle. That means we don't think it's going away. We think it's just now going to be a thing that we're going to be, dealing with a lot of our herds. And that means that although demand is high, supply is going to be low, and we're only anticipating that it's going to be lower. And what happens when you have low supply and high demand? Really expensive foods. In contrast, like, let's think about, like, the foods that don't cost that much to buy. So these are going to be things like legumes, right? So your beans, your lentils. Like, how much does a 25-pound bag of beans cost? It's not that much. Intact whole grains. Like, how much does a 25-pound bag of rice cost? Not that much, right? Think of your entire produce aisles. So fruits, veggies, like your non-starchy vegetables, like your broccoli, cauliflower, celery, cucumber. That's a fruit, but you know what I'm saying? Like, even your starchy vegetables, potatoes, what a wonderful source of calories potatoes are, or sweet potatoes. Like these are the foods that you've not seen the same markup as you've seen in the other aisles of the grocery store. Like, I can still get bananas for 49 cents a pound, and I make a lot of smoothies. That helps to make my lifestyle pretty cheap. I'm gonna kind of go off on a little side tangent, but, like, these foods are foods that just grow in this natural abundance on this planet. Like, a lot of these foods grow, and because they exist in an abundance, that makes them pretty inexpensive. And so if you just tap into this natural abundance that the world provides, it rewards you, not just with, like, cheaper grocery bills, although that's nice, but, like, also with these amazing health outcomes. Like, the research on beans that's just come out recently is amazing. Like, 1 cup of beans per day can extend your life by up to 4 years. That's beautiful. And I remember hearing this phrase, which is, you can either pay the farmer now or you can pay the doctor later. I think that there's a lot of truth to this, because, like, we don't often think of, like, medical costs and, like, food choices as, like, interlinked. But 100% they are. Absolutely. Like, make no mistake. And this is coming from a lot of my own experience. So a lot of you know, if you know my story, I used to be type 2 diabetic, right? And this is back when I was in, like, my mid to late 20s. Like, I was 27 when I first got diagnosed. And back then, I had much better healthcare coverage than I do now, even though back then I made about 1/3 of what I do now. That's a whole other conversation for another time, because, yeah, of course, the insurance cost is getting more expensive, and yet they cover less and less, making all medical care more expensive, which is just all more the reason to do this, right? Because, like, a plant-based diet can help or reverse most of the top 10 causes of death. You know, it's even one of these things, the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, which is the world's largest collection of nutrition and dietetics professionals. They recently released a peer-reviewed statement. This is February 2025. This is huge. I'm kind of freaking out about it. And I'm reading directly from their website. It says, it is the position of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics that in adults, appropriately planned vegetarian and vegan dietary patterns can be nutritionally adequate and can offer long-term health benefits, such as improving several health outcomes associated with cardiometabolic disease. The reason why I'm freaking out about this is because cardiometabolic disease is like this umbrella term for all sorts of diseases that are, most of them are in our like top 20 of like main health concerns in the United States. So for example, heart disease, the #1 killer of adults in the United States, that's a cardiometabolic disease. That statement literally says by following a well-planned vegan diet, so a whole foods plant-based diet, it will improve your health outcomes. Right there, just that should be enough for all of us to consider it. After all, it is our #1 killer. But there's more, like type 2 diabetes. You wouldn't think that would be a cardiometabolic disease, but it is. It's a cardiometabolic disease. It falls under that same kind of blanket umbrella term. Hypertension, high blood pressure, right? Fatty liver disease. There is so much that falls into that umbrella, like blanket term. Like this is amazing. If you follow a well-planned whole food plant-based diet, your overall medical costs can go down exponentially. Like that's huge. Like not only is that like short-term, like wonderful benefits of like decreasing your overall cost of groceries, but now we're talking about decreasing our overall cost of living because we're not getting sick quite in the same way if we do this. Like, that's amazing. And we don't even talk about this quite as much as we used to either, but like, we need to rely on the medical system as little as possible right now. Like, nothing but love to the nurses and doctors, but like those guys, overworked, underpaid, understaffed, like the whole system in and of itself is just stressed to a potential breaking point. Like, I don't know if we're ever going to fully recover, but either way, we need to rely on ourselves more than the medical system right now. So for anybody who's like, show me your receipts, I just don't believe it. I'm in the grocery stores. I see what those products cost too. Like, look, I get it. Like if you're buying nothing but Impossible Burgers and Beyond Burgers and like the sausages and the replacement foods and the cheeses and all that kind of stuff, that can add up. Yeah, but I honestly think that we should all limit those foods anyways because they kind of fall into this category of hyper-processed foods, which we don't want to eat that much of anyways. Like we don't even need them for protein, to be totally honest with you. Like, for example, this is actually a great example. The overnight oats recipe. I have it over on my shorts, like on my account. So go look at the shorts. You're gonna have to scroll down a little bit. Overnight oats recipe. It's gonna give you more than half of your day's worth of fiber, about 20, maybe even 25 grams of protein, as well as this like massive amount of omega-3s. It's incredibly healthy for you, and it costs 97 cents. Less than $1? Like the dollar menu doesn't even exist in fast food anymore. Like a Big Mac is $5.99. Think about that. I could eat that breakfast 6 days a week, and sometimes I do because it's delicious, and still be less than the cost of one Big Mac. Like let that sink in. Oh man, just to underline this point even more, like eating a whole food plant-based diet, you should have seen what I made the other night, like this taco bowl. It was like shredded lettuce and wild rice and refried beans and lentils. And then on top of that, I had like all these fresh tomatoes. My mouth is literally watering telling you about it. And then I even like marinated these like portobello mushroom caps and like cut them into like steak slices and like put that on there and like olives. And oh my God, it was so good. Like I love the way I eat because it's delicious, but it also makes me feel amazing. And it by far is the cheapest diet that exists on the planet. it's a win and then another win and then some extra bonuses kind of sprinkled in along the way. So I hope you guys like this content. I know I got a little bit passionate there, but like if this is the type of thing you want to see, please consider subscribing. This channel is like 2 months old. And so I really appreciate any of the support that I get. If you want to hit the like down below, comment with any thoughts, concerns, opinions, I welcome the discussion. I'll see you guys in the next one.